Welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for news and rumors from the Detroit Lions. Okay, today we're going to talk about the truth about Jeff Okudah. There is so much going on. Talk about the number 3 overall pick, and we're going to do a deep dive into Jeff Okudah today. We're going to make our decisions on him, and then we'll let you make your choice and decision on where you think he'll be in a few years. So we're going to do that today. We have your comments today. But first, before we get to all of those things today, I'm going to bring in my main man, my man of steel himself, Curt Steele.
Hey, what up, though? Welcome to the show, people. It is great to be here. You know what it is. We are the Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Like my man Jim said, we are your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. If you have done so already, subscribe to the page. We appreciate it. And like the videos, share the videos, comment, leave us a answer for the question of the day, and ring that notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Let's get this thing started
right
now. Hey, welcome back to the show, everyone. It is time to do what we do at this juncture every day in the show. Let's get these comment cards. Jim, you up first.
D. Boykin says, say it took like 2 years to be good. Okudah will be fine. We are going to do that deep dive into Jeff Okudah today. So these questions are very relevant. Slay, though, was a second-round pick. He was 36th, I believe, overall. Yeah, I believe he's 36th overall. This is off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But 36th overall, and Okudah was drafted number 3. There's your difference right there. So that's just my take on that.
All right. Vaughn Westerby says, yes, give them another year, just like we hear every year. Wait till next year. Wait till next year. I feel you on that one, brother. Hey, sometimes it's like that, but I get you.
I get you too, man. And wait till next year is the theme of the Lions. Maybe that should be their branding and stuff.
Hashtag wait till next year.
I'm gonna do that. We might make a shirt that says "Wait till next year, go Lions." All right, Austin Nicholas says Okudah isn't fast enough to be a top cornerback. He runs a 4.7. We're going to see about that. We have a whole part of the show that's going to be dedicated to his speed and how it translates on the field and how it translates versus other players. So we're going to get into that.
Yeah, definitely. Don Burr, what up, Don? The front end complements the back end. No pass DB gets cooked every time or more often, and especially a rookie. If you don't have a good front seven, when we invest in the D line with some studs, Okudah will get better. You know what though? That's a good, interesting take. I do like that. The front end does hurt the back end. If you're not getting any pressure on the quarterback, your cornerbacks have to cover extremely long periods of time, and it's just hard to cover any wide receiver in the NFL for extended periods of time.
And our D-line has not been very good, save Okwara. And we got Everson Griffin. He's been actually getting some pressure too. But for the most part, they don't get much pressure and give the quarterback all day. So, I mean, it's tough for a corner to cover for a long period of time in the NFL. And I agree with that. I agree with it 100%. Rick Keyway says, how many rookies are good out the gate? Amari is, as example, second year, way better. Next year should be a good year for both young corners. Again, Amari Oruwariye was drafted in the 5th round. So, you know, and he's picked 3rd overall. I think it's more the draft pick placement than it is.
I think that's what it is. I mean, now I will say this: Amari Oruwariye was graded probably about a 2nd round pick. He wasn't graded a 1st round pick, but he was graded about a 2nd round pick, and they think the Lions got to steal getting him that late in the draft. Looking at some of the other guys that went in front of him, that he was graded. I think it was like Speedy Williams was graded like above him, and they were he took taken above him, but Greedy Williams was actually was graded out as a draft prospect around the same round, about the second round. So Greedy Williams, Amani Royer, I think Amani Royer is above him now in this performance.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
Greedy Williams got hurt though, so he's on injured reserve.
Yeah, this is true. All right, last one. Dakota Baird. Hey, Dakota, how's it going? What up, though? That's what she said. That's why I'm reading it. I'm reading it just like she wrote it. What up, though? Hey, do a coaching profile on Matt Campbell. You know what? You got it. Matt Campbell will be profiled tomorrow's show.
Tomorrow's show. Yep, he's the current head coach at Iowa State, and he was the head coach at Toledo from 2011 to 2015. We will profile him tomorrow.
That was a good team. Toledo had some good teams back then. Those mid 2010s.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he had some good teams. Think about some of the guys that that came out of there. Good run, especially what's his name? The running back for Kareem Hunt was on that squad.
Now it's time for some bite-sized nuggets. Welcome back. We're going to get into the bite-sized nuggets real quickly. Marvin Hall gets picked up by the Browns. I didn't know why we got rid of him in the first place, but what are your thoughts on that, Curt?
I just think it kind of was a move to get some guys back on the field. I just think he was kind of the odd man out where they had to release someone to get people back off of IR, and he had to be the sacrificial lamb. Actually, I think that the Lions did okay without him. I mean, to be honest with you, I think that it opened up for Marvin Jones to take his traditional down the field type of position. And
Cephas as well.
And Cephas, yeah. So, it is what it is. So, good luck to Marvin out there. I did like Marvin Hall. He's a speedy guy. So,
and watch him ball out for the Browns. I'll tell you, I bet you he's going to ball out for the Browns. Yeah. Matthew Stafford nominated for Week 13 Air Player of the Week. Yep, let's get rid of that guy. That makes sense.
Yeah, I voted. Go out there on NFL.com/FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Week, and you can go ahead and vote.
Okay, and a report says the Detroit Lions will not use a search firm, if I could talk, in the head coaching search. They did that last time, but they have the same guy that was advising them the last time, so I don't know how this works.
Who's Ernie Corsi's?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Well, you know what? No, he was the GM. He searched for the GM. Yeah. He was the GM search.
And that's what we're searching for, I hope, now.
Yes, my sweet Jesus. Because he's been away from the game for so long. I don't know. I don't know if that's a smart move.
It's the Lions. It's a dumb move, probably.
Yeah, I don't think that's a smart move myself.
We'll see who they bring in. We're going to keep doing our GM series and our head coaching series until they pick somebody.
There's such a deep pool of
really good GMs too.
GM candidates. Yes, there's a lot of guys out there.
Okay, that was the bite-sized nugget segment for this show, and now we're going to go and head to the main course. Okay, everybody, main course time. We're talking Jeff Okudah today. There's a lot to go over with the young man. He's 21 years old. He's a corner. He drafted 3rd overall, in case you didn't know, which you probably do. Curt, let's go into a little bit of his stats for the year so far.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I mean, just looking at him overall, he has started 9 games. He's played 9 games, started 6 of them. Has an interception on the year, has been targeted 53 times with a completion rate of 41 completions with a completion rate of 77%. That's pretty high. He's given up.
That's not
good. 77% of the passes thrown towards his direction he's given up. As receptions, 594 yards given up in coverage. He has given up 2 touchdowns. He has 1 interception on the season. He has 47 tackles on the year. Wow. He only has 5 missed tackles, which is only a 9% rate of missed tackles on the
And he has
year.
their quarterback's opposing him of 118 rating too, which is
Yeah, that's a pretty high quarterback
really,
rating.
really high. His snap counts are at 460, so that's 55% of the snaps he's out there. But that he's been out games too, so you have to
Yeah.
factor that in as well. I want to go over this because when we selected him, these are his combine measurements for people that are saying he's a 4.7 and all this other stuff, which is incorrect actually. It says his height is 7'3". I pretty much don't think that's the case.
Nah, he's 6'1".
6'1". He
Yeah.
weighs 205 pounds. His 40 time was 4.48, not 0.47. 4.48. So I want to make sure that correction got in there because that's a significant thing. His bench was 11 bench presses. His jump was 135. He has a 41 vertical. So him coming out of college was hyped as one of the best corners to come out of Ohio State. And there's a lot of them coming out of Ohio State that are very, very good corners. He has not lived up to the hype. Now, why not? Why not? Why has he not lived up to that hype?
I think coming into the season definitely was injured. Coming into the season, a lot of people really don't really take some of that stuff into factors. I think it was a leg injury. So he's not as what do you call that? His probably pickup speed isn't as good as it was in college. And another thing is that the Lions front seven really is bad. It's bad.
Yep.
But I will say this: he has some kryptonite. Double moves is definitely his kryptonite.
It really is.
He just can't read
Slant
it
over
right
the
now.
middle is hard for him.
It's hard. If it's a crossing route and he's in a trail position, he can play that decently. But he just has some things to work on. He's a young corner.
His makeup speed isn't very good right now.
Yeah.
And I think it has something to do. There's two things I think it has to do with. And one is the injuries that he's been battling all year. Does that make him a little slower or more immobile than he would normally be? That's one. Two, Matt Patricia's defense is very complicated.
Yes.
And I think it took him a while to get that down. I still think he's learning, and I still think he's young. He's only 21 years old, guys. And I'm going to go to something too. We talk about Okudah and his speed. Now I want to show you something. We're going to look at the 40-yard dash times of some of the best corners in the entire league. Keep in mind his is a 4.48. So Stephon Gilmore is a 4.4. Tre'Davious White is 4.47, so that's very close. Marlon Humphrey's 4.41. Jalen Ramsey's a 4.41. Marshawn Lattimore, 4.36. Darius Slay is a 4.36. Casey Hayward is 4.57.
Woo.
Richard Sherman, 4.54. And Marcus Peters is a 4.53.
Yep.
So Okudah's right in the middle of those guys, and I think that the speed may not be as big of an issue as we first thought, just based on the comparisons of different players. And I think it's scheme. I think it's how he fits in that scheme and getting better, taking his angles better. He's already a heck of a tackler.
Yeah, he's gonna have to look at techniques. Well, looking at that, let's kind of look at looking at the kind of the what do you call it the players that are veterans that are in the league, how he compares to them. Let's look at some of the rookies that he compares to. Okay. Now, if you look at the rookie class with significant snaps, he rates pretty far down. Out of 18 corners that was taken in the draft last year, he ranks around like 15 out of 18. So one thing, and he definitely rates very low overall on defense. His rating is only like a 41.8 as far as overall. AJ Terrell is the highest. He ranks at 70.6, and most of the rookie class rates in around that mid 50s to 60s in PFF scores. Now, run defense, he is the only one. He is an elite Run defenser.
Wow.
He's the only one that rates elite. The next highest is AJ Terrell as well. He rates in the 80s, but 86.2. He rates elite in run defense.
Wow.
His pass defense definitely is where he is lacking. He only rates at a 56.2 PFF score for pass rush. A pass rusher. He's not really rushing the passer. But AJ Terrell, he does a lot of blitzing and things. They don't use him in that manner in Detroit. They don't blitz him off the corner. I think it may be a speed thing. They will blitz a Warrior off the corner, and maybe Justin Coleman, but they don't use Okudah in that manner. Coverage skills, he rates really low, 30.1 on the coverage rating. I think the highest is Cameron Dantzler out of Minnesota. He rates at a 69.1 as far as coverage ratings for as PFF score. Now, PFF score is, analytics, it's not the end all be all, but it does give you a measurable listing of where these guys kind of rate and their performances on the field. He's about the middle of the pack as far as where he measurables as far as height and weight, 6'1", 199, and that's probably average. Most of the guys looking at their size, they're looking at about between 190 and 200. You have a couple of smaller guys in there, but most of the guys, the smallest guy is like 170 as far as his weight's concerned. Now, that's pretty light for a corner in the league. But most guys average about right around 200. The biggest guy is Lamar Jackson, the other Lamar Jackson out of New York, the cornerback. He 6'3", 215. That's a pretty big corner right there.
It's a big guy.
That's a big guy. That's normally what a safety. But looking at the guys that were in the first round, most of them are above him in their stats. Of course, AJ Terrell, CJ Henderson, but their measurables. The one that stands out the most is AJ Terrell, but Okudah's in the mix with a lot of the other guys that were picked in the first round. But again, the elite score for him is in his run defense at an 86.2. And that's something you really can't teach. He's a really sure tackler, and he just has to kind of work on some other things in the league to get himself better. I think that, one thing that if you look at when Darius Slay improved his game, what did he start doing? He started working out with elite cornerbacks. He started working out with Patrick Peterson and those guys and went out there and made a concerted effort to improve his game. And I think that's probably what's going to happen. You look at no OTAs, no training camp. This is a small training camp. So it was like he didn't have a rookie training camp. So all the extra time that he missed because of COVID-19 can be a factor in why he is the way he is right now. And he has some struggles, and there's going to be some backlash on where he was drafted. And then every first round draft pick isn't a gem.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I'm going to look at some of the players. We're going to go into this again now, where we have a couple. I only did a couple. There was some outcry at the number 3 pick that he shouldn't have been picked there. I wanted Isaiah Simmons or Derek Brown. So we're going to look into Isaiah Simmons and Derek Brown versus Jeffrey Okudah. So Okudah has a PFF grade of 41.8.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
Overall. So Isaiah Simmons has a 61.8, and Derek Brown has a 56.3. So already they both outrank him. Okudah has played 9 games, 1 interception. We went through all the numbers on him. Let's go through Isaiah Simmons. Now, he's struggled. He is not a starter right now. But against the Cowboys, he made a couple of really good plays, got a weird penalty. It was really ticky-tack, kind of a crazy play. But his play against the run has been a lot more encouraging. He's played 12 games instead of 9. He has 1 interception, 1 touchdown, 2 pass defenses, 2 sacks, 40 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hits. How much more can you ask for?
Yeah.
He's
a hybrid. He's a hybrid safety / linebacker.
Yep.
Out there in Arizona
with speed.
Yeah,
with speed to burn.
And I think that was the issue with him out there in Arizona. They kind of have the some riches out there at both positions, at linebacker and at safety. So
true.
So, you know, you look at, you know, Buda Baker out there and, you know, those guys. So they have a spoil of riches out there at both positions. So where can you had to find him a place to kind of get on the field.
That was my guy. That's the guy I wanted at 3. And I think that it would have been a better pick. That's just my opinion. We'll see how it pans out over years and years, you know, because that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So Derek Brown, he's played 12 games, 2 pass defenses, 7 quarterback hits, and 27 tackles. So he isn't great either. He doesn't have a sack.
Yeah.
But he's a defensive tackle. So, I mean,
yeah,
you know.
Defensive tackles really aren't. I like the tackles and quarterback hits. I really don't define D tackles by sacks. And that's more of for me, that's more of a defensive end type of deal because
he has 7 quarterback hits, which is pretty darn good.
That's pretty good for the defensive tackle. I like that stat.
Yep.
Stuff on the run, you know, make sure you contain that middle of the offensive line is really where I look at defensive tackles, and I think he does a pretty good job. 56.3 is that the greatest PFF score. Like I said, it's not the end all be all because it doesn't tell you heart, it doesn't tell you effort, what they're doing on the field, those intangible things that they do. It just kind of gives you a baseline of, you know, their snaps and, you know, things that they do.
Just a metric.
You know. So analytics, but you know, it does, like I say, it does give you a kind of a snapshot of what they do on the field.
So what is your gut overall feeling on Okudah? Since we went through so many things about him.
It's a mixed bag. I think that he gets he's getting fans are more inclined to be down on him because of where he was drafted. I think that sometimes the cornerback is probably one of the hardest positions to come into the league and make this great instant impact. But if you look at his overall performance, is lacking. He's had room to grow. Definitely. Do I think that he could play safety? I think he can. I think he has that ability. But I won't give up just yet on him as a corner. I think that if you look at some of the players that were in the league and that take a while to kind of maturate at that position, sometimes it's not an instant success at corner. That's very rare that you have this great all-pro season as a rookie corner. It just doesn't happen that often.
That's true. Well, here are my thoughts on Okudah. I think he's going to need time to develop. I think that every metric that you look at with his, you know, you brought it out really, really good where he's like 15th overall. But his strengths are run defense. His strengths are, you know, that type of thing. I think he fits more at safety for me than corner because of his run defense, because of his size, because of his tackling, because of the tackles he's making. I think he would be a pretty good safety. But I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. I say we give him a couple more years at corner and see what happens. Look, Richard Sherman was really slow, and that was why he was picked in the 5th round. So I think Okudah could be just fine. And I'll tell you this, if we address the front 7 of our defense, it makes Okudah 100% better. It really does. Those numbers are based also on that horrible defense and that horrible defensive line and us not getting hardly any pressure whatsoever on a quarterback. We make quarterbacks look really good in in Detroit. You have quarterback woes, just come to Detroit. We'll fix those for you real quick. But my bottom line, the truth about Jeff Okudah is that he might make a better safety than he makes a corner. But at this point, it is too early to tell. It is too early to make that judgment, and that's where I'm at on Jeff Okudah. So now we're going to go into the question of the day. Question of today is, what do you think about Jeff Okudah? This is an easy one, like I said. What do you think about Jeff Okudah? How does he rate for you? Does he rate more of a corner as a safety? But do you think, this is a big question now. I'm gonna get into a bigger question. Let's do this. Do you think Jeffrey Okudah will become an all-pro corner in the NFL? Not a safety, a corner. That is the question of the day. And I'm going to go to Curt for a second. We had a little thing about DeAndre Swift And I'm going to go to Curt real quick with some of that information.
Yeah, he was, people know he was injured, had the concussion protocol, and one of the things that didn't come out that people were he had an illness. He came off the protocol early. He didn't play in the game because of the illness. Now, one thing, Adrian Peterson was like, well, he hasn't been the same since he had the concussion, and he's not, doesn't have the same energy. But he had a kind of tough stretch. He got a concussion, and then he was sick. I'm not going to have the same energy having a concussion and being sick. I'm not going to I don't put any onus in Adrian Peterson, MD. It's just not. It's just not. I leave that to the doctors and the trainers. But I think Swift will be okay coming up here shortly. I think, look at, well, he'll probably hit back the practice field tomorrow, and I think he'll be okay going forward for the last 4 games of the season.
I hope so. But yeah, Dr. Peterson, I'm pretty sure doesn't know as much as our doctor. Dr.
He's AD. He's Peterson AD, not MD. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for my favorite part of the show. It is time for dessert with Curt.
Now, it has to do with a really unknown anomaly on the team. My man, Mr. Matt Nelson, came into the game for Tyrell Crosby on Sunday. He got an ankle injury. And what did Matt Nelson do? With some help of some, running back and some tight ends, Khalil Mack was statless in the game on Sunday.
Wow.
Did not record a single stat during the game on Sunday.
Well, yeah, he didn't get a sack, but there was one he got a sack on, but they called it back or something.
Called it back. So
yeah.
didn't register a stat in the game on Sunday. Now that is something to be marveled at. Good job there, Mr. Nelson.
Mr. Nelson was a defensive player too before he was offensive lineman.
He was a defensive lineman, and he converted at the Lions. So
yeah,
that goes out to Hank Fraley as well, to be able to coach that guy up on the other side of the ball. So that's my morsels for the day. Dessert. Khalil Mack, statless, Nelson doing his thing. Hey, can't get no better than that in your first extended play at the right tackle position.
That sounds really, really good. Guys, thanks for rocking with us. I hope you enjoyed the video. We tried to do as best as we could deep dive into Jeffrey Okudah. Hope you understand a little bit more about the situation and what we think, and giving you the stats to help you make an informed decision on what you think about him. You probably already have your own ideas, but
one more thing. His body hasn't matured yet. He's only 21 years old. He could fill out and be a nice, big, heavy safety. He can put on, because, he's only 21. Your body really matures as a football player between that 22 and 25 age range, where he can fill out and be a nice size safety and corner. So he could be a hybrid player. So, he could get up to around 215 and be a nasty safety, excuse me.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that may end up being his position, but let's not do it yet. Let's give him a little time. It takes time at that position. So, wow, that's what our thoughts are today. Appreciate every one of you rocking with us. A shout out to Everything King and subscribe today. That was amazing. Thank you, man. I watch your stuff religiously, so I wanted to shout him out there too. So, Curt, take us home.
Hey, thank you for joining the show, everyone. We appreciate it. You know what we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. Comment on the videos, like the videos, and ring that notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here at Detroit Lions on the Prowl. We have some special announcements coming up soon, so stay tuned this week. So we got some more stuff coming for you. Now, you know what you need to do. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up. Ball out and be the best version of you that you can be. Former man Jim, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. This is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.